In this one, the communication is possible between the human and the cars. Human, with respect to a smartphone, can communicate with all of the agents. The human, by the smartphone, can communicate with the cars, can communicate with the lighting signals, can communicate with bus stations, can communicate with ambulance, can communicate with policemen. And also, the AI in the car can connect the information of the smartphone as a profile of the driving, a profile of the human, and with respect to, it can sort, for example, my music. It can silence the alarming when I have a complex maneuver. It can alarm me about my appointment and simplify our journey. All of them are implemented based on the cooperation network between the smartphone and agentic systems in the vehicle. And also, the pedestrian. The pedestrian can cross the street. When a vehicle approaches to the pedestrian, the smartphone and the vehicle can communicate together. And they can improve the safety in the environment by alarming. For example, my smartphone, I am pedestrian. My smartphone sends some information to the vehicle and say that a pedestrian who is close to your car in the street. The vehicle processes on this information, estimate the duration to receive the pedestrian, and send some alarm to the pedestrian, for example, stop or go rapidly, and also send some information to the driver. Be careful, there is a pedestrian in front of your car. Because of that, by such cooperation, again, we can serve some safety services to the pedestrian who is outside of our car. Because of that, the connection between the smartphone and the vehicle and cooperation and sending the necessary information together is very, very useful for improving our life. Example 3, UAV. UAV can be programmed before, but in the real environment, there are very different conditions. For implementing dynamic condition, it is very hard to implement programs. But instead of programming before travel, we can save some process in the UAV to consider, for example, the information of the obstacle, the information of other UAV, the information about the environment. And based on the fusion of this information, it is possible to get the best route or the best maneuver for any UAV. In this situation, we can use a swarm of UAV for searching the environment, surveillance, or rescue. Rescue is very, very important. It's possible because the UAV in a cooperation manner communicate together and share their information. They share information about the velocity, their location, their knowledge about the obstacle, etc. It is another good example of cooperation network between agents. Any UAV is an intelligent agent, and the sensor network between the UAV is the infrastructure for agentic decision. Number 4, in the intersection, we can define some static signal timing. In the static signal timing, we define some phases. For example, when we go to intersection, we can define phase 1 for moving right or turning to the left. Another phase for moving up or turning right. They have intersection. And also this one as the tree for turning right. Assume that we have 3 phases for the signal in this intersection. In the classic implementation of signal optimization for intersection, we define an array containing the green time, red time, and offset for any phase. For example, this is for phase 1, similarly for phase 2, similarly for phase 3. But in this implementation, the wiring system is neglected. We don't have any information of other intersections. Maybe they are very, very congested or need to control the network of the intersection with respect to their behavior. Because of that, we can define an agent, an intelligent agent for any intersection. Then we have a network of the agent between the intersection. This agent can communicate together, sending the information about the congestion together, sending their decision about the green time, red time, and offset together, between a starting of green time together. For example, if I green this intersection in 8, 12, 30, I send the information to all of the nodes. They calculate the duration time. with respect to duration time and the green time of this intersection, they can change the start of green time for themselves. And when the green time are adjusted with respect to received information, we have a wave of signal. Yeah? A green wave. Green wave is a coordinated sequence that allows a plateau of vehicle to pass through multiple intersections. Means when you started from this intersection in the green time, go up, then we receive to the second intersection, again the signal is green, continue, when you receive to the third node, the green time is happen. This is a green wave. A sequence, a coordinated sequence that allows a platinum vehicle. It is a platinum vehicle. Yeah? It's a platinum vehicle that pass through multiple intersections with minimal stop. Such cooperation between the different devices of the smart cities and also the vehicle is very, very useful for improving the quality of journey and decreasing the traveling time and significantly reducing the congestion. It is another example of cooperation. But, come back. In example 1, our objective is improving safety. Both objective is improving safety. In the second example, both objective is improving journey. In the third example, both objective is improving manual. And for both objective is improving control. When the objective for both agents are similar, we have cooperation. If the objective functions opposite we have competition. In the last example, we have multiple agents with conflicting goals. One of them tries to maximize revenue, and the other tries to minimize the revenue. For example, in business, you have different organizations. Each of them try to maximize its benefit, but the benefit of two competitive companies are opposite together. Increasing the revenue of the first decreases the others. In this situation, we need to adjust our policy with respect to other agents. What I can do? Agent ask from himself what I can do. Agent estimates the behavior of other agents. Yeah? And combine this information to make best decision. With respect to one and two. The estimation is the core part when you have competition. You need to estimate which policy or which action is following by other agents. It is used to games, adversary games, in defining the aggressive pricing strategy in aggressive trading markets, because in the trading markets, each agent tries to estimate the other agent behavior to get the best strategic price for itself, and the others do the same. In this example, by usage of different kind of estimators, we try to process on the data. For example, in the market, we collect all of the information about the different organization, process them, and estimate the next step that will be continued by others. And based on this information, we can adjust our decision. This is the core of our discussion in this week. As you see in this week, we can consider different environment, deterministic or stochastic. Sometimes the environment has deterministic manner. This means that for every action, we just have a single state. But sometimes there are some stochastic processes, and with respect to a single agent or a single action, we can go to different states, but different probabilities. Also, the number of agents is important. When we face with an environment with a single agent, there is no cooperation, there is no competition. Just we use uninformed search or informed search for solving the problem. But when the number is 2 or greater, the number of agents is 2 or greater, there is a framework for cooperation or competition. For simplifying the problem, we just consider competition with 2 players or 2 agents. But if you face with multiple agents, for example, in a game, player 1, player 2, player 3, player 4. We program just for a single player. For example, P1. It is turn 1. This is turn 2. Turn 3. And turn 4. We do an action. When we do an action, the others try to minimize our benefit. Because of that, it minimizes, and the last minimize. We can consider all of these agents together as a set of agents. This set of agents are opposite to our objective. Their benefit is not aligned with our objective. Because of that, we consider all of the information in this set as a single agent. And instead of 3 agents, we consider a single agent who is responsible for 3 players. For all of these players, try to minimize our benefit. Because of that, when we focus just on 2 players, we can extend the necessary algorithm. For more than 2 players, similar to this set of agents, we can extend the previous example again. Because of that, until the end of this chapter, we consider just 2 players or 2 agents. And are they perfect information? This is very hard to say that I have perfect information about the environment, because I have some limited information in different games. But I can say that the players are perfect. Players when are selected randomly. For example, one time the player uses this state in the similar situation. Again, consider another state, and so on. When the selection is random, we cannot estimate which of the state is the next state by opposite agent. But if the agent is perfect, it compares the benefit of this part. For example, it assigns the benefit equal to 8 for this state. Again, evaluate the value of this state. For example, assign 12 for this one, and so on. The perfect agent compare these values and select the best one. For example, this one as the best. This is the meaning of perfect player. Perfect player consider their different states and based on the comparison results chooses the best one. When the player is perfect, we can estimate its behavior. In the previous example, I don't know which of the states should be selected by the agent. But now, because I assume that the player is perfect, I can say that the best one is chosen by perfect player. Because of that, I can estimate the behavior. This is the base for estimation of the behavior. We assume that all of the agents are perfect. Now, we have two kinds of the problems. In the left, the blue agent tries to find the green items, but the green agent tries to find the red items because their objectives are not opposite. There is no competition in the left picture. We can consider two independent problems. Independent problem for blue agent and independent problem for red agent. The red agent search in the space to find the necessary red items, and the blue one search for green items. The algorithm is completely similar to the previous discussion about the informed search or uninformed search. But in the right, both of the agents try to access to a same item. When they are trying to get a same item, they have opposite objectives. When they have opposite objectives, they should try to compare. When they try to compare, increasing the benefit of the first decreases the benefit of the second, and decreasing the benefit of the first increases the others. Increase, decrease, increase, decrease. This is the meaning of zero-sum game. In a zero-sum game, every decision by an agent that increases its benefit decreases the benefit of the others, because their objectives are opposite. We have a sequence of the action. Sequence of action. When the utility increases for mine, decreases for the other. Again, the sequence utility increases, decreases for others. Now, increases for me is not possible, increases this one. Now, minus, plus, plus, minus, 0. This is the meaning of 0 sum. For the next, again, 0. For the next, 0. This is the meaning of zero-sum game. We receive the adversary again.
That's a big book.
Adversary again is a good implementation of max and min game. Please see this picture. I consider two types of the agent. The first one is blue, that is assigned to the turn 1. And the second player is red, when I need to decide about the next action. I think about the behavior of the min operator or min agent. Again, when the min agent need to make decision, come back and think about the next max player. And again, this max player consider the behavior of the min operator. This is continuous until receiving the terminal. In the terminal, all of the agent can calculate the utility of the process. They compare these benefits and utilities and choose the best one for their decision. I presented this process by two different colors. The blue color is for blue agent or max agent. Max agent moves in a node to lead to position with the highest possible value. This is max. This is max operation. It needs max operation. The red one. Min agent, that is red, tries to respond with the minimizing the counter move. When it tries to minimize my benefit, increases its benefit because the game is zero sum. When the game is zero sum, increasing to any objective function decreases the objective function for the others. It tries to minimize my value, increases itself. My try to increase the utility, because of that decreases the value of the next one. This process, blue and red, are repeated again and again to receive to a terminal node. But terminal node is very far in real problems, and the height of the tree is very great. Because of that, we need to prune this tree. Alpha, beta pruning. Alpha, beta pruning try to decrease the amount of the nodes in the searching tree to find the best decision in the least processing time. Because my decision depends on the mean decision. Again, mean decision depends on the my decision. It is interdependency in zero-sum games. Interdependency because each of the link between max and mean is related to decision of next agent. This is the meaning of interdependency in zero-sum games. And by processing such recursive algorithm, we can solve very complex problem. For example, chess or checker. They are solvable with respect to my and mean operations that are repeated several times until receiving the terminal nodes. But what is the cost? What is the benefit? What is the utility? The core of our work is to defining a good idea for definition of utility. For example, in a simple environment, when Pac-Man eats the circle, the problem is solved. Because of that, I can consider two children. In each of the children, I do an action. With respect to any action, we receive to a new state. But they are not terminal because the white circle is remained. We continue again and again. Sometimes, after several actions, we solve the problem in very less height. For example, in level 1, level 2, level 3. In level 3, we receive an optimal terminal. But sometimes we try to check all of the children in all of the states to receive to such a score or such utilities. All of these utilities is considered by min player and max player for both of them. But the definition is unique for both, for min player and max player. We have not two objective functions. We just define a single objective function. One of the agents try to maximize this objective function, and one of them try to minimize it. But because the game is zero-sum, increasing in the objective function decreases the benefit of the other, and the decreasing of the first increases the second. Our work is comparing these values. Because of that, we focus on a single objective function. This is our objective function, the best achievement outcome or utility from the state. It is the objective function with respect to max operator or max player. We defined our program just for max player, not for min player. But we estimate the behavior of the min player. This is an example of the terminal state. When you receive to terminal state, the utility is known. But in the middle state, for example, they are middle state, we cannot estimate Vs. For evaluating this function, we need to process all of the children, compare the behavior of the children to estimate the value of Vs. But because it is terminal, it can define the necessary value for utility. And when we need to define the best policy, you call a max operator. This max operator compare. Next. That's good. In the max node, we call a max operator. This max operator check the utility of all of the children. All of S bar is children of S. It compare all of the children. Because of that, it is a recursive function that continue until receiving to terminal node and come back to the next level, come back to the next level, up to receiving to this operator. And based on the different value that is obtained with respect to the children, this max operator chooses the utility for intermediate nodes. Yeah? We started from max. Our children is min. I call max operator, but my children call which operator? I call max operator. My children call min operator. Both of the children calls min operator. Again, in the third level, this is the level of max player. We call max operator. Again, in the next level, we call min operator, max operator, min operator, max operator, until receiving the terminals. In the terminals, we can assign positive or negative. Both of them are acceptable. For the utility, you can consider positive, 0 or negative values. It's up for you. And we can come back in the recursive manner to evaluate all of the fathers with respect to obtain the utility in the terminators. For example, assume that this is March, and let me the value received in the March. It compared by operator of max between -20 and -8. -8 is selected for this one. -8. Again, this is max player. Compare the received utility, -80 and -5 is received.
Minus.
it uses, -5. Again, this uses +4, and this uses +8. So this. Now, they will report to the mean player. Mean player calls mean operator. It compares -8 and -7, -5. -8 is better. It uses -8. Using minimum operator in the mean. Again, between -10 and +8, it chooses -10 because the mean is used. Again, this received -10 and this is -8. This is max operator. And you call maximum between -10, -8 and -10, -8 is better. Yeah. And the tree stops. Now, we define two different procedures for Mike and me, colored by red and blue. Come back to the utility. In the TikTok game, sometimes we receive to a terminal with fail, with success, or so-so. To the success, we can define the utility +1. For the failure, we can define -1. For the state that are not success or failure, we can assign 0. Again, we have a zero-sum game with 3 different utilities. In the previous slide, the value of the utilities are positive or negative values. In this example, we just have 3 values, +1, -1, and 0. But it is completely dependent on definition of your problem. We are ready to present important procedure for Mike's-Min algorithm. Please pay attention to the term. Term is very, very important. If the term is stochastic, we cannot solve the problem easily. By our terminology, we consider a fixed term from the initial of the game up to end. For example, I am the first, you second, you third, you fourth. The term is fixed until the end of the 3 steps. And we need to divide the min-max algorithm into 2 procedures. In the first procedure, I am blue. Blue is max player. Blue is max player. In the max player procedure, I need to do a loop over my children by maximizing their benefit. But because my children are mean player, I call mean value function on my children. In procedure 2, this is red. In the red, I am a mean player. Again, I have a loop. In the loop, I minimize over my children, but my children is
Max value.
max player. Because of that, max value procedure is called. And now we combine these algorithms together. The first one is maximizing over the children or successors, and the second one again minimize over the children or successors. In the integration manner, we have such function, and this function at the first we come evaluate the state. Maybe a state satisfy the goal condition. If it satisfies the goal condition, it is terminal. We return the terminal and the corresponding utility as the value of the gain. Otherwise, if the state is not terminal, we compare the node. If the node is blue or max agent, we call max value procedure. Otherwise, if the agent is mean, we call mean value procedure. Say that. It is a integrated algorithm, is referred as min-max algorithm, and by this algorithm we can solve any game with two players. But this algorithm is written for max player, or the player with the turn 1. The second player adjusts its decision or its policy based on the max operator or max player. An example. We have started from this node. Is it terminal? No. I need to extend. Because it is turn 1, it is max player. Ask maximization over the children. But for maximizing the children, it should check all of the successors. The first successor of this is a terminal, no. Continue. Call the child, the first. It is terminal, does not continue, come back. Again, call the second child and the third child. It is mean operator. Thus, minimize between 3, 12, 8. It's 3. Because it's minimized. 3 is in hand, but for evaluating this function, we need to consider other child. For other child, again, we consider the first one, it is terminal, we don't continue. Again, the next child. All of the child are in hand. I am minimum operator. Use minimum of 2, 4, and 6. 2 is obtained. Yeah. It reports to the father, but the father needs another child. Again, ask child. It is terminal. We continue. We stop. Continue in the other child. The second and third. Again, yeah, the minimum of this one is 2. We return 2. And now, the max player access to 3 values for decision making. It compared them with mice operator. The mice is 3. Yeah. 3 is obtained. And the problem is solved. Now, the objective function is returned by the max and min players. Sorry, remember that I say the players are perfect. Assume that the players are not perfect. Because I assumed the perfect player, I chooses this node for next step. But if the player is perfect, it selects this node and I received 3 utility in this example. If it is not a perfect, it chooses one of these states. Both of them are greater than 3. Thus, if I select this node and the min player is not perfect, at least 3 utility is received, but because the player is not perfect, maybe I receive to 12 or 8 utilities. Thus, assuming the perfectness is necessary for estimation, because based on the perfectness of the other agent, we can estimate their behavior. But if they are not perfect, my benefit increases and it is positive for me. For the next lecture, we check the similar trees, but with many types and different level of the searching tree. Checking all of the information by 2 procedures, min and max, is very, very hard. We define some restriction for improving the search. For example, we check these values before starting the checking the children, and if the children increases our benefit, we expand our search. If the children does not any benefit, we stop. For example, please pay attention to this node. In this node, we receive 3. Yeah? We go to next step. In the next step, we try to check the value of this node. The leftmost child is 2. 2 is less than 3. Because of that, we say by expanding other nodes, we cannot improve the value with respect to 3. Because of that, we prune all of these nodes. Details are implemented in alphabet pruning. We continue in the next lecture. Also, for evaluating any node, we need to receive 2 terminals. It is a good question. If the terminal is very, very deep, is it possible to evaluate the intermediate node by other kinds of the information? Is it possible to estimate the utility easier? The solution is in hand. In the next lecture, we discuss on the pruning and evaluating the intermediate node before terminal nodes. I'm ready for any question. If there is any ambiguity in some part, please ask me. No one? Thank you very much and have the best.